Clad in soot-stained rags, her days were an endless cycle of chores, a testament to the cruelty of her stepmother and stepsisters. She scrubbed floors until they reflected her weary face, polished silver until it shone brighter than her own future, and tended to the hearth, her only warmth coming from the dying embers. Her spirit, though dimmed by hardship, held a flicker of hope, a quiet dream of a life beyond the cold stone walls of the kitchen. She imagined a world filled with music, laughter, and kindness, a world so different from her own that it felt like a distant, impossible star. Her only companions were the small mice who scurried in the wainscoting, and the birds who sang outside her attic window, and to them she would whisper her secret wishes. One evening, as tears of despair traced paths through the soot on her cheeks, a soft, ethereal glow began to fill the dreary kitchen. The light pulsed with a gentle warmth, coalescing into the figure of a woman with eyes as bright as starlight and a smile that promised miracles. It was her fairy godmother, drawn by the purity of Cinderella's sorrow and the resilience of her heart. With a voice like tinkling bells, she comforted the weeping girl, assuring her that dreams, even those born in ashes, were destined to bloom. The fairy godmother explained that Cinderella's kindness had not gone unnoticed, and that for one night she would experience the magic she so deserved. A sense of wonder replaced Cinderella's sadness as she listened, her heart daring to hope once more. With a flourish of her shimmering wand, the fairy godmother began to weave her spell. A cascade of sparkling magic, like a river of diamonds, swirled around Cinderella. The rough fabric of her rags dissolved, replaced by a breathtaking ball gown of shimmering gold, spun from moonlight and starlight. On her feet, delicate glass slippers appeared, impossibly beautiful and fragile. The magic didn't stop there. A plump pumpkin in the garden patch swelled and transformed, its rough skin smoothing into the gleaming chassis of a magnificent golden carriage. The humble mice became proud. White horses and a stout lizard was fashioned into a footman, ready to serve. In a matter of moments, the girl in rags was gone, and in her place stood a princess, ready for the ball. Arriving at the royal palace, Cinderella stepped out of her golden carriage and ascended the grand marble staircase. As she entered the ballroom, a hush fell over the assembled nobility. Every eye turned to the radiant stranger, her beauty and grace outshining everyone in the room. The prince, who had been listlessly greeting guests, was utterly captivated. He saw only her, a vision of elegance and mystery. Crossing the room in a few strides, he bowed deeply and asked for a dance. As they moved together across the polished floor, it was as if they were the only two people in the world, lost in a waltz of unspoken connection and burgeoning love. The music swelled around them, a perfect symphony for a perfect moment. But as the grand clock tower began to chime the hour of midnight, the spell's end drew near. Panic seized Cinderella's heart. With a hurried apology, she pulled away from the bewildered prince and fled the ballroom. She ran down the grand staircase, her golden gown shimmering with every desperate step. In her haste, one of her delicate glass slippers slipped from her foot, left behind as a solitary, glittering clue to her identity. She disappeared into the night just as the final chime faded, leaving the prince with nothing but a broken dance, a heart full of questions, and a single, perfect glass slipper.